This morning, our American farmers and ranchers, a mere 1.7% of our U.S. population, rose to face the challenges of feeding our nation and world. A lifestyle and career viewed by many others as unbridled and tranquil. But beyond the cattle guard, our producers are facing economic hardships, such as large debt loans with climbing interest rates, machinery breakdowns, Mother Nature challenges, disappointing crop yields and commodity prices, government regulations, and the list goes on, making one of the most stressful occupations farming and ranching. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health examined 130 occupations and found farm workers and farm owners to have the highest rate of deaths due to stress-related conditions. Over 50,000 Americans took their own lives in 2023, the nation's highest yearly suicide rate on record. Farmers are 3.5 times more likely to die by suicide than the general population. What's more, Oklahoma has the highest 5-year average suicide mortality per capita amongst the 17 southern states. And yet, over half of those who died by suicide did not have a known mental health condition. This past year, even our community mourned the loss of 2 of our young farmers and ranchers. Hi, I'm Riley Pope.
I'm Creed Pope.
And I'm Lucille Morehouse. And we are with the Choctaw County 4-H, and we are working with the Smithsonian to get the word out on farmers and ranchers' mental health. As people that live in a small rural area, we have neighbors and family that are farmers and ranchers. So we know sometimes it gets really hard to deal with things on your own. Not a lot of farmers and ranchers talk about mental health. That is why we want to make this more visible across the nation. It is okay not to be okay.
Join us on this journey as we explore mental health in farmers and ranchers.
Stress amongst Oklahoma farmers and ranchers can be traced back to the 1930s when facing the Great Depression and devastating Dust Bowl simultaneously. The Farm Foundation was founded during this time in 1933. Fast forward to the 1980s when suicides soared during the farm crisis, and Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp organized the first Farm Aid concert in 1985 to raise money for farm families. USDA Rural Health Fellow Tamara Tell shared data from the CDC showing suicide rates climbed by 46% in rural areas between 2000 and 2020, then peaked in 2023.
Fortunately, our elected U.S. Congress decided to address this issue in the 2018 Farm Bill, authorizing the Farm and Ranch Stress Assistance Network program. USDA Rural Health Liaison Kelly Kubina explained that once the Appropriations Act to fund FranCan is passed by Congress and signed into law by our president each year, FranCan can issue grants to connect farmers and ranchers to assistance programs such as the Oklahoma State Extension's Farm Stress Online resources. In addition, other programs such as 988, the Suicide and Crisis Hotline, are federally funded. It's important to recognize the symptoms of stress. While you may not have noticed any changes, maybe the family, a neighbor, or vet did. Maybe clergy noticed their absence in the congregation. Maybe friends at the coffee shop noticed their empty chair at the table. We sat down with Ryan Hunt, a 4th-generation cotton, wheat, alfalfa, and corn farmer and cow-calf rancher whose family farm started around statehood, and Sheila Roughton, who married into a feeder cattle operation, to discuss these real struggles.
What are the main things that cause stress in agriculture?
Agriculture is a unique business in the fact that we have very little control over our input costs, and then on the backside, the price that we get for the product that we produce. So I think that creates a lot of financial stress, first of all, because we have to figure out a way to make ends meet and feed our family and pay our bills with very little control on either end of what might produce money left over or positive margin for us to live on. We can't control the weather. We can't control the prices that we get for our commodities. We can't control our input costs. And so there's a lot of variables that we're having to try to juggle, and things become overwhelming. For example, this past summer we went about 4 months with very little to no rainfall. And so we had to figure out a way to make it work with our crops. We planted wheat 7 weeks ago, and it's just now coming up since we've had rain in the last 10 days. I had a cotton crop that we planted about 800 acres, and 400 acres really didn't come up that well and make a crop. We caught a little rain in July, just as an example, and we had about 400 acres that we were going to make a crop. Well, in the last 10 days, we've had 7 inches of rain, and now that crop is all on the ground. So in a matter of 10 days, we lost the other 400 acres.
What has been one of your biggest challenges in your operation?
That would probably be back in 2015 or 16, when the cattle market crashed and everybody lost a bunch of money. It's just everyday challenges. I mean, can't find employees. I mean, one mental challenge I would say is, like Eric, my husband, he don't get to go anywhere with us, anywhere, like to her JC singing functions or to JC shows or anything like that, because somebody's got to be there at all times.
Why do you think farmers and ranchers don't seek mental health help?
Their pride. I guess you could say your pride.
Yeah.
We're stubborn. We come from generations that brought themselves up basically with the term that, you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. We didn't need any help from anybody. By golly, we're going to do this on our own. I don't need to talk to you about my problems. I can do it all. And so I think that we're stubborn to a fault. And I think that we don't like to admit when we need help. We don't like to admit when we're wrong.
We also learned that neither Sheila or Ryan were aware of mental health resources for farmers and ranchers. One excellent nonpartisan resource supported by the National 4-H organization is the Farm Foundation. Their Farm Family Wellness Alliance Together All program offers 24/7 anonymous online peer support to address stressors unique to the agriculture industry. Vice President Tim Brennan explains why farmers and ranchers are more likely to utilize the Together All online program.
If you're seen driving, your truck is seen parked in front of the doctor's office in town, someone's going to ask you, well, why were you at the doctor today? And I think that if it comes to, why were you at a counselor's office? Why were you seeking mental health support? I just think people don't want to do that. They don't want that to be known. They don't want to be seen maybe as weak or as going through something. So I think that's why the system like Together All is really, really valuable. It's anonymous. It's virtual. People can sort of choose who they want to talk to or what they want to talk about. And like I said, if it's more elevated, we can provide them with the support they need without having to get in the truck and go into town and be seen getting that help. And, the last guy to go to the doctor is always the farmer, unfortunately.
We want to thank all of our interviewees who participated in our project. If you know a farmer or rancher needing help, here are some available resources. We would like to leave you with 5 action steps to help someone having suicidal thoughts. Ask, be there, help keep them safe, help them connect, and follow up.
Whether American farmers and ranchers, teachers, health and human service workers, insurance agents, mail carriers, you name it, even students. It's important to reduce the stigma related to mental health concerns. When we connect others with appropriate mental health resources, we save lives. And we hope our presentation will do just that.